So in our last episode, we talked about what sprint planning is and how it helps focus execution, minimize surprises, and guarantee overall higher quality code. Hi, I'm Megan Cook, Group Product Manager for Jira Software at Atlassian, the makers of Jira and other collaboration tools. Let's begin with the actual sprint planning ceremony and walk through a simple agenda so you can see what's covered during this meeting. First is the retrospective recap. Next comes the product and marketing updates. And third is the planning conversation. The session starts with the Scrum Master presenting any relevant action items from the retrospective. Then, the product owner provides product or market updates so everyone is on the same page and understands the broader context. After the debriefs, the product owner starts the actual planning conversation by working with the development team to set a sprint goal and determine their velocity. One of the biggest challenges during sprint planning is often prioritization, so having a focused sprint goal and data like your average velocity can help inform the conversation and can make things easier. The sprint goal is an objective that can be met by implementing stories from the backlog. It provides guidance to the development team on the why or the purpose of their work. Using data points like the team's average velocity also helps with prioritization. Your average velocity is the amount of work typically completed in a sprint. Once you set a sprint goal and determine a starting velocity, you're ready to plan the sprint. This is when everyone walks through the stories being suggested for the sprint and discusses the work required to complete each one. This is the longest part of sprint planning, and it's tempting to rush through or skip steps. But one of my biggest pieces of advice is to take your time and be thorough at this take. A little more time up front makes a big difference later on. So, as you navigate the planning conversation and come to a consensus, you're ready for the final step of the process, recapping the plan and each person's first action item. After all the conversation, everyone will be wanting to wrap up and get to work, but it's good practice to just take a few more minutes to summarize the next steps. Get verbal approval from everyone in the room about what the team is actually committing to shipping at the end of the sprint, and confirm which task each person is starting on to make sure no one is duplicating work. Now, as you can see, steps 2 and 3 represent the bulk of the sprint planning process. It may seem a bit daunting at first, but we have tons of tips for how to make things go faster and smoother. That's where we'll pick up on the next episode. See you there.